Thank you, Adam, and thanks for everyone for being here. And a lot of familiar faces. We were sitting over off to the side, Parrish, and trying to figure out who's been here at least as long as I have. And you're the first name to come up. And we looked over and saw Jeff Robertson, Jim Holder. Will, we weren't sure because you've been in and out if you counted in that category. But I think mine is maybe the only hairdo that's changed since we've been here. Everybody else got the same hairdo. But it's a privilege to be with you here today. And thanks to Adam. And, I think everybody's got a media guide. And, terrific job by him and his staff putting that together. And we will talk, about the release this morning. Hopefully it came a little bit as a surprise to some of you, because that's what the goal was. And as I read Adam's release this morning at 9 o'clock and started hearing beeping outside and a big crane in front of the stadium and got all excited, and I said, boy, Ross Bjork does not mess around. 9:30 and there's already a crane outside. And then of course Jake Scott, my director of operations, said, Coach, he's just cleaning the windows. Anyway, we'll talk about those in just a few minutes. But I think all coaches and all teams, 300 plus Division I teams in the country, it's an exciting time to always start the season, starting on Friday. And before I get into that and talk a little bit about our team, a couple guys I want to introduce. First, make note that Stephen Head, one of our former coaches, great player here, left about 2 months ago to take on a scouting job with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And so we moved one of our director of operations, Mark McMillan, into Stephen's role as a coach on the field, along with Mike Clement that returns from last year in his second year, and Carl Lafferty as our recruiting coordinator and pitching coach. I will talk a little bit about the team, and as Adam said, talk about the news this morning. One of the things that I've been saying, I think probably for the last 3 or 4 months when asked about this year's team, is it seems like last year's weaknesses may be this year's strengths. And what I mean by that is, last year, as much as probably even a year ago sitting in front of this microphone, I wanted to believe that we returned a good group of kids from the 2014 team that went to the College World Series. The truth of the matter is, we returned 3 freshmen that really were outstanding as freshmen, but were in totally a different role. And but now when I look at those guys, they're not freshmen or just starting their sophomore years now. Now they're juniors. And when I look at the position players, Adam put in, I think, the media guide that we returned 7 of the starting 9. But the truth of the matter is, on opening day, the 10 guys more than likely that'll be in the lineup, including the pitcher, would have all started last year. And so we're as old and experienced as we probably have ever been, as a position player group. And then, last year, one of the weaknesses was our pitching depth. And after, a few injuries, I think that was quite evident, that we just showed our lack of depth on the mound. And we fixed that with the signing of 11 pitchers in this current recruiting class that's on campus right now. And I believe that's the most that we've ever signed in one recruiting class. So, we're excited about that. We'll start with the position players, kind of going around the horn, starting at third base. We returned Colby Bortles at third. Colby, started just about every single game last year at third base after a freshman year where he really came on the scenes as a star in postseason, but last year took over the third base position and played as well as defensively as I can remember anybody playing defense here at third base. In my tenure, hit 7 home runs. We returned him at third. At shortstop, Errol Robinson starts this year for his 3rd straight year. A lot of preseason accolades, preseason All-American, was voted by the scouting directors of professional baseball as the #1 college shortstop in the country. And I think you always feel good when you return guys on the left field or left side of the infield like Colby and Errol. At second base, Tate Blackman. You know, Tate's coming off a tough freshman year where just a year ago, I think we were up here talking about his preseason accolades before he even stepped on the field as a college baseball player. It was a tough year for Tate, but has swung it as well as anyone in the fall and early spring, and just very proud of him. Proud of the way he's handled himself, proud of the way he's come back his sophomore year, and expect him to have a big year. At first base, we have Will Golson that'll start opening day. Will, a little different than Sykes Orvis at first, but excited to have somebody as athletic as Will. We've already seen it in such a short period of time on the field. His athleticism, the way he can play defense, move around, I think it's just going to add to one of the things I think we'll talk about all year is how well we can really defend and how athletic this team is. Will had a great season for us offensively last year, batted in the 3-hole a lot for us last year as a true freshman. Behind the plate, Henry Lertigue, I think is ready to have a monster year. Had a great fall for us. Swung it statistically as well as anybody on the team. Bats from both sides of the plate. Really can throw and handles the pitchers well. Very intelligent. Very easy for me to communicate with the signals and whatnot. So excited for Henry behind the plate. In the outfield, not exactly sure. I'm assuming in the first weekend we'll have several different lineups, including a couple different rotations of outfielders out there. But look for Connor Cloyd to start in left field at least a couple of the games. Connor was our leading hitter from last year. Goes into his senior year. A guy that can really handle a bat from the left side. Good runner. In center field, J.B. Woodman. J.B. was a freshman All-American a couple years ago, and it's amazing. People act like J.B. didn't have that good a year last year. I look back at his stats, and he hit 7 home runs, and just a super athlete. But he's probably, when people ask about improvement and who to look for this year, when I look at J.B., he's probably played as well as anybody of the position players consistently from the beginning of the fall to right now, and excited, and think he's going to have a big year for us. And in right field, we return Cameron Deshawn. Cam had a good year for us last year, stole around 20 bases, and I think it's got a chance to, playing every day, got a shot to steal even more bases, possibly get into that 30 range. Also, guys to look for, true freshman from St. Louis, DJ Miller. DJ is one of these guys that when he came on, and last year we got to this point where we started Kyle Watson, I think, on opening day in the outfield, and because we didn't have the depth, and we moved an infielder out there, and now we got a true freshman that's led I think the team in the fall in hitting, and is leading the team in the spring in hitting. And I'm not sure if he'll start in the outfield on opening day, but he certainly will get a start at DH or somewhere in the outfield before the weekend's all done. Holt Pertzak returns, a senior, could play DH, could play some left field for us, and of course Kyle Watson that played so much for us last year. On the mound, the rotation will go Brady Bramlett on Friday, Chad Smith on Saturday, junior college transfer from Wallace State in Alabama, and Sean Johnson. Sean, as many of you know, was slated early on to be one of the weekend starters last year, but went down with an elbow injury after surgery, and almost a year out now. Looks strong, looks terrific, a great competitor, and has earned the nod to go on as a Sunday starter. For Parrish's notes, the closer this year will be Wyatt Short. They don't get it.
That's not a hard decision this year, is it?
It's not. But you're the only one that gets that, Jim.
Yeah.
But
It's
Will
okay.
Stokes,
It's a good one.
yeah, thank you. Will Stokes also in the bullpen. I think one of the things also we feel very comfortable about. I think when you talk about this team, people because there's so many new names on the mound. That I guess would be the question mark for this team. But we feel very comfortable not only with the starting three, but also the bullpen with Stokes and Short in there. But